Got the Mr. Muscle Cleaner, getting ready to try it on the gear cover. I thought I would turn on the camera. This is comical. I cannot get this lid off of here. This stuff must last forever. I'm trying to pry it off with a screwdriver. There it is, with broken plastic. Big enough hammer, you can do anything. I'm just barely pushing the trigger so I can apply it as lightly as possible. Don't want to waste it. Just want to get a coating on there. A little bubbly. Seeing some effects. The green is turning lighter green. I'm going to watch that for a while and see what happens. Alright, our first round of Mr. Muscle. Ooh. Well, it looks like it's taken all the machine green. I think the machine green protected the original gray that's underneath. But it'll still take 2 coats. Maybe it won't take 3 or 4, like some of the other parts got. I think all the paint was off of this badge. I don't know if there's going to be any paint underneath of it or not. Yeah, I'd say it got the green off pretty thoroughly. I have to wash it in water to see it well. I'm going to experiment on my lower gear cover, and I'm just going to make this, take this green paint and oven cleaner and just kind of make it a muddy goo. Now that it's taken that top layer of paint off, I think it all kind of lays on top of little curly bits of, little wrinkled bits of old paint, or the first layer of paint. It just kind of sits there on top of those little bits. By doing this, I'm kind of mixing it with the nasty old paint and letting it come into contact with the gray paint underneath. I'm going to let that work. The other cover I did was pretty much almost all the green paint came off of it, but it's still got the gray underneath. So we'll see if this allows one treatment of the oven cleaner to get both layers, or some of the second layer at least. So here's the first cover. This area here showing rust color didn't have any paint on it at all. It's been worn off, maybe from solvent rags, I don't know. Hope I can get a new badge. There's no paint on this badge. There wasn't any paint on it before I put the stripper on there. Something I've been wondering is, are those rivet holes drilled all the way through? And yes, they are. So I'm going to try to punch those rivets out. So my next coat of stripper will get underneath the badge too. Now, what I don't have is any pin punches. I need an assortment of those. These are all tapered. That's got clearance in there. And I drove that one out. You can do a lot with a plastic hammer. Yeah. Those rivets are out. So now I can pull those rivets out without prying under the badge. Just in case I can't get a badge, maybe I can repaint this one. still makes sense to take it out as gently as possible. These appear to have a little thread on the bottom of them. I'm going to pry using my punch as something to pry against. So I can do this, not mess up the camera angle. I want to pry against the soft badge material. Oop, I think I know where that is. Yeah, I believe that has a spiral. Oops, get it in the camera. I'm blind. There we go. I believe that has a spiral cut on it. I don't have my reading glasses on. I can't see that. There we go. Got that one out. The back of the badge looks about like the front of the badge. Time to start painting. We've got 2 layers of primer on everything. I'm shaking this can by hand. I got this from Tractor Supply, and I didn't ask them to shake it. I'm not sure if they even have a paint shaker there. It's probably a mistake not to check. Yeah, it definitely needs some mixing. Ah, my organized painting stuff, I have an extra stirrer. If I can't get these streaks out of here, I'll probably visit the store and ask them to shake it for me. Oh, they seem to be disappearing rapidly. Now I'm brushing this paint on because I want it to be more durable. I think a sprayed finish is always just kind of too thin. Now there's a danger with this paint that if you get it too thick, it will wrinkle if the surface dries too fast. So to slow its drying, I'm going to, although I've hauled the parts in the heated house after each coat of primer lost its tackiness just to make sure it would cure well. But this I'm going to leave out here in the cold. I looked online for the instructions for this paint. There really weren't any admonitions about the temperature or cold temperatures. There were only admonitions about it drying too fast, not to put it in the direct sunlight or anything like that. So we'll see how this goes. You know, it looks pretty well mixed to me. I don't see any streakiness, any weirdness whatsoever. I have a bag here to put my brush in so that I can reuse it without cleaning it. So here we go. This will be one of 2 coats. I don't expect this first coat to look too hot. Hopefully it will level out and not show a lot of paintbrush strokes. The dipper, oil dipper, is missing. I'm not too sure about the idea that they used the tailstock to contain an oil dipper. I guess you pull this little knob out of here and it has a stem on it, and it's used to lubricate a drill when you're drilling. A nice little hole in the casting there. But it doesn't seem like very much oil, so I'm not sure why they did that. but I've noticed a lot of lathes have those. Maybe it's just an old-time thing. I'm sure most lathe operators have a can of oil nearby for that purpose, which is what I intend to do. But I want all the parts for the lathe, so I will search out that dipper. Should be a much better paint job than the machine green that was on it, which apparently I did no surface prep whatsoever. Who knows when that happened? Probably they need to give somebody some busy work. This lathe at one time was at a place called the Foreign Exchange. My father was into foreign automotive, Porsche, Audi, BMW, Mercedes repair. And the Foreign Exchange was one of his competitors that he did business with. They were involved in racing together. So it's friendly competition. And I think this had been laying on the floor in their shop for years, and he knew about it. And he got it for me. I believe I've got it all covered. See a little bit of primer through it, but I'm sure that will improve with future coats. I'll come back when I have more done. So there we are, brush and bag. Lid on the can. First coat of red on everything. It says to leave it set at least 1 day before recoating. Since it's in the cold, it might be drying kind of slow. I might let it set 2.